During the autumn term of 2020, the Act Your Age group partnered up with Suffolk Artlink and the Bury Records Office on a project called Special Delivery. Using an extraordinary collection of letters held at the Records Office on behalf of the Royal Anglian Regiment, children from Abbots Green Primary School and the Act Your Age group created artwork and audio dramas based on this collection of letters. The letters dated from the spring of 1940, when British forces were being pressed back through France towards Dunkirk. They were simple letters home, written by the men of the then Suffolk Regiment, but during the chaos and danger of the retreat, they had been left in an abandoned post van. A German officer found them and took them home with him, promptly forgetting about them until long after the war had finished. In the 1960s, he took them to the British Embassy in Bonn to ask them to be returned to Britain. The regiment then attempted to get them back to their intended recipients, but sadly only 9 of the 50 letters hit their target. The others were returned to the regiment, who lodged them with the Records Office for safekeeping. Members of Act Your Age invented backstories inspired by people mentioned in the letters from the soldiers. Taking tiny snippets of information, they created, wrote and recorded entirely fictional characters and scenes, things that might have been, both on the battleground and on the home front. Although names from the letters have been used, absolutely no similarity should be assumed to any actual person. These audio monologues and sketches are what they created during 11 weekly Zoom sessions.
Blimey, it's good to be out here with the fish today. Just me and the river, no one looking over my shoulder telling me what to do. I mean, I like helping Dad in the garden, and it's been better lately, as we've been digging the ground for the air raid shelter, but still it's good to be out on my own. Mind you, now that I've got the job down at Hipperson's, Dad lets me be a bit more. Can't say the same for Mother, but then you shouldn't expect miracles, should you? It's grand having my own wage packet, bit of money in my pocket. I give a bit to Mother, of course, and it means I might be able to ask Doris to step out with me. Perhaps go to a dance, or maybe even the pictures. She's a beauty, is Doris. Too good for the likes of me, but maybe she'll say yes. You should see her smile. Makes me want to do anything for her. Wish I could be out fighting with Ken. Seems funny not having him around the place. We get those field cars, but they can't give us any real news, and as far as letters, well, very few and far between. I want to help our boys and Ken stop the Jerrys and send them on their way back to Germany where they belong. Maybe if I could do that, we could finally get a decent steak and kidney pudding. I'm fed up with boiled mutton and potatoes.
I came to Beccles from home to stay with Mr. and Mrs. Barber and keep safe from the bombs. Beccles is so quiet and green. Auntie Dot and Uncle Henry are very kind. I don't always understand what Auntie and Uncle are saying, as they talk different from me. And they say such funny things like, "We will better keep her doing, little June." Auntie cooks such nice food and they give me so much. They get worried when I can't finish it. But I always eat up all the puddings, Spotted Dick or roly-poly pudding, with lots of jam in it. They've got a big garden with chickens and vegetables. Uncle is always out there digging and that. He lets me help with the chickens and collecting eggs. I help with the dusting and washing the dishes. And we listen to the wireless too. Sometimes in the evenings when Stanley is home from work, we sing some songs. I like singing these songs about farms and animals. The Old Sow and a foggy winter ruin. I miss my mum and dad, and I pray for them to be safe from the bombs. And for Auntie and Uncle's son Ken, who's away fighting the war.
Stanley, nice to see you, lad. What can I do for you?
Hello, Mr. Maxwell. Nice to see you too. Just finished work. Working with Dad, you know, at the docks. I was wondering, that is, oh...
Spit it out, lad.
Mum said, do you want a cup of tea, Dad? Oh, sorry. Didn't know you were speaking to someone.
Actually, Mr. Maxwell, it is, Doris I wanted to speak to.
Ah, I see. Well, I'll leave you to it.
Doris, love, don't get upset.
I can't help it, Mum. You don't trust me.
Of course we do, love. It's just...
Ada, stop pandering to her. She has to be told. What do we know about Stanley? I know he lives up the road, and he has a good job with his dad at the docks, and his brother is out in
Oh,
France.
Charlie, what's Ken Barber got to do with anything?
Don't interrupt, Ada. Now then, Doris, all I am saying is that, well, sometimes young men get, well, you know, get carried away, and before you know it, you're up the duff. Do you know what I mean?
I know what you're talking about, Dad. I'm not stupid. I'm sure Stanley isn't like that. He's a kind and gentle person. I know him from school. And anyway, I can look after myself.
You know you can. There are things you can buy, just in case, you know.
Well done, Charlie. You handled that really well.
Well, Stanley, you finally asked the girl out.
Her name is Doris, Dad. Can you please call her Doris, not the girl?
Okay, keep your hair on. Where are you planning to take her anyway?
The pictures. We both fancied the film that's on at the moment. The Son of Monte Cristo.
Well, Stanley, no sneaking behind the bushes on the way home, if you know what I mean. I just wanted to say that whatever you do, don't get the girl... don't get Doris into trouble.
Dad, please. What do you think I'm like? This is our first date. And Dad, I would never do anything like that. I would never hurt her or... Mum, say something. Help me out. Mum? Oh, I'm going to my room.
Now look what you've done.
I loved that film. And Louis Hayward is so handsome.
Is he more handsome than me?
Well, I'm not sure. Have you heard from your Ken?
Yes, Dad got a letter from him. Mum gets upset because he doesn't write to her. Then I get angry because Mum is upset.
Oh, Stanley, you shouldn't get angry. Your Mum and Dad have enough to worry about. What did Ken have to say?
Not very much, really. Sends his love to everyone. He says he hasn't had a wash for 2 weeks. I wish I could get away with that.
Well, I wouldn't go out with you if you didn't wash for 2 weeks.
Doris, can I hold your hand? I have washed, honestly.
Of course you can.
Would you mind if I kiss you?
Not here, Stanley. Maybe when we get home.
Ada, stop pandering to her. She has to be told. What do we know about Stanley? I know he lives up the road and he has a good job with his dad at the docks. All I am saying is that, well, sometimes young men get, well, you know, get carried away and before you know it, you're up the duff. Do you know what I mean? You know you can. There are things you can buy just in case, you know.
Stanley, will you kiss me?
Trying to get away from the coast, blocking every road.
Sergeant Major Mackay speaking to number 3 and 4 companies, Suffolk Regiment, on the subject of letters home.
Remember this. Ordinary things is what the contents of your letters home must be. No facts about our situation here. Finally, in order
My
to
letters
conserve
home are just as the
material,
Sergeant
all
Major said they
mention
should be.
any rifle
Plain and
ammunition,
simple.
any
Friendly
weapons,
greetings, no places, no dates, just pleasantries and talk of ordinary things. Nothing that would give away the slightest clue about the situation.
trying to get away from the coast.
He's right, of course. That would never do. But still, I long to say what's really going on when I write home to you. Now, just as the Sergeant Major reminds us, in the Great War, as he knows only too well, and it's no different today, sweethearts don't want to know about how you slept on the bare cellar floor of a deserted village house to escape the bombardment. And mothers, they don't wish to be informed about you not having had a change of clothes for 6 weeks as the facilities for washing don't exist. And sisters, they don't want to be told tales like about what happened with Harry Edwards' sister Martha. How she baked him a cake and sent it in a tin, then it got stolen at the depot. And she'd used all her points to get the butter. He got the tin, but not one crumb of cake.
What sort of cake was it?
How should I know? Probably a Christmas cake. The Sergeant Major says it's kind of just to tell them in the letters what you think they'd like to hear.
Like this, you mean? Things are not really so bad.
The lads always pull together when there's a tricky situation. That's a good one.
They shoulder their worries lightly and always with a cheery smile. Better still.
And this one too. How they love nothing better than to hear about ordinary things going on in their small Suffolk hometown. The May dance, the annual trip to Southwold, the cricket with tea served on the village green.
Don't mention the waves of refugees desperately trying to get away from the coast, blocking every road. Say nothing about the daily strafing from the Luftwaffe's Me-109s that we can only swear and curse at. Keep it to yourself about the eerie scream of the Stuka dive bombers coming from the coast. And certainly remain silent on your view that this time the government got it badly wrong to misjudge Hitler's intentions when he said he had no quarrel with Britain and that peace in our time rubbish. And especially, better not to tell them what it feels like when you first set eyes on the queues of men on the beach waiting for rescue. I'm getting away from the point. I trust you get the idea, boys, and tonight the mail will be collected in this wagon here. Tonight's mailing closes in, 1 hour, so for those writing letters, and it might be the last chance you get for a while, get it down on paper now. And remember, if you do stray away from what I've just told you, your letter will be burnt at the depot.
So we always take the Sergeant Major's words very seriously, but sometimes we like to cheer ourselves up with a song, like this. There'll always be an England, so keep on smiling through when the boys come marching home.
I'll be thinking of you. Here, try this one. Wish me luck as you wave me goodbye. It's a lovely day tomorrow.
Run, rabbit, run, rabbit.
Time to be serious now, Goodwin. What's your name, Private?
Harry Edwards, Sergeant Major.
Goodwin and Edwards. Sounds like a vaudeville act, or a coal merchant's perhaps. Mail your letters now. In 30 minutes the regiment has its orders to begin a night march to the coast. You men always say no one ever tells them where they are on the map, and I dare say it's often true. Well, I can tell you where we're heading. We're heading for the French port of Dunkirk.
I had to just come out into the garden just to get my thoughts together. I see that little June in my kitchen sitting at the table where I should have sat with Mary, my little Mary, who was taken from me at such a young age. She laid in my arms wrapped in a blanket. She looked so perfect. Surely she's just asleep. But no, there was no breath left in her, and the doctors couldn't save her. I thought if I held on to her and loved her as hard as I could, the breath would come back to her, my little Mary, the little girl I had dreamt of having. I would show her how to cook, teach her about the plants in the garden, take her for walks and share things that were just for mums and daughters. They all think I'm over it now, that 10 years have passed. We never talk of her. But I think of her every day. When I went to the evacuee distribution, they asked me to take little June. How could I refuse? She looked so frail and vulnerable, clutching her bag and her gas mask, fear in those blue eyes. The same blue eyes as my little Mary. I tried to love little June and care for her, but that knot of resentment in my stomach holds me back. And anyway, I know that I will lose her too when the war ends. I worry all the time about losing Ken, but I'm puzzled and hurt that his letters are always for his dad. I get the letters second-hand and Reg tells me the bits he thinks I can cope with. We don't talk of what may happen. It's almost as if talking of it will make it happen. Ken tells us to keep our chin up, and I try to do that by working hard for my family and little June.
Friday, May the 17th. Posty's gone past again. Oh well, better keep a note of things, otherwise I'll forget. My memory ain't as good now. May the 18th. Sent a letter to Jack. Told him got some baby chickens. Keeps me busy. Although my eyesight, I keep falling over 'em. Bessie don't help by digging up holes for me to fall down. May the 19th. Went to church. Lots of women. Lots of men at war. Asked how Mr. Shaw was getting on in the hospital. May the 20th. Weather good today. My arthritis is better in the warmth. Went shopping. Take me mind off about thinking about Jack. May the 21st. Tried eating those dried eggs. Yuck. Not again. Got stuck in me false teeth. May the 22nd. WI today. Use some of the dried eggs to cook cakes. Perhaps my chickens will hurry up and lay some eggs. Knit squares for blankets. Easier on me hands than socks. Leave that to the younger women. May the 23rd. Would love some bananas. Oh well, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. May the 24th. Listen to the wireless at 9, hoping for good news. Perhaps I'll get a letter from you, that'd be good news. May the 25th. Went to see Margaret and listen to her gramophone. Wish I could dance again. Get me knees up. Like watching the youngsters though. May the 26th. Church again. Gives me somewhere to go. Perhaps I'll get a letter soon from Jack.
Here we are. Harry's letter was posted yesterday, so I will note some bright, cheerful things, ready for when I receive his next one. Father said, whatever misery we have here, Harry will not need to know about. So cheery it is. Saturday the 10th of May. Churchill takes the helm. How exciting. We will soon get this sorted now Chamberlain has gone. Sunday, May the 12th. Church and chatter. I prayed for a swift end to the war. I also met Mavis. Together we joined WVS. You will be proud of your wife, knitting for victory, socks for the Red Cross. The first pair earmarked for me to send to my darling Harry. Monday, May the 13th. Grabbed a wonderful stash from the church jumble. I am unpicking blankets to reknit as balaclavas and socks. Whoever would have thought that I, Elsie, would be doing what Mother did in the First War? Saturday, 19th of May. Winnie was on the wireless. It was a great speech. Everyone is talking about it. In a solemn hour, arm yourselves and be ye men of valour. I happened upon a banana. Mavis gave it me because I knitted her baby a coat from one of Mother's skirts. The vicar raised 10 and 6 at the auction for it. That will get you some soaps and razors for your next parcel, and me some more wool. 22nd of May. Food rationing keeps me slim for Harry's return. No post, but Father says not to worry. I packed a parcel with wash bits and popped 2 pairs of socks ready to post. Clothes rationing is here, but I'm making a swish wardrobe for when you return. The first is a dirndl skirt from a lace tablecloth, pink with 2 patch pockets. I will be everything you wished for in a wife. You will never regret picking me from that shelf.
Right, lads. 20 minutes only. Pack all you can carry. Leave the rest.
Dearest mother. My hand is shaking. Is it the cold and wet, or is it fear? What is happening to us? The young lads think of it as a bit of a game, but us older ones can't take our minds off the death and the killing. Have I killed anyone? I've certainly used my rifle enough. I just want to go home and get back to my garden. How is Mother coping with this, I don't know. My skin crawls, and I just can't get used to the filth and discomfort. I haven't had a proper wash for a week now, and 3 days of stubble on my face makes me feel even worse.
Get your boots off for a short while if you can.
I've just got time to change my socks. I'm down to the last pair. They're not clean, but I managed to dry them out by tucking them inside my smock for the last day or so. Goodness knows what Mother would think of all of this. Mother hated me going. What mother is going to think anything else? I hated going too, but it was my duty, I suppose, not wanting to do the wrong thing by Father. We shouldn't be here, but we are. It just doesn't seem right. There's been plenty of killing around us, and I just can't get used to it. It seems like only yesterday when we were all gathered together in the chapel back home, and yet with everything that's happened here, it feels like a lifetime ago.
Are you all right, mate? We'll lick these Jerrys in the next couple of days. You mark my words.
Young Ken Barber seems in good spirits. He's wanted to chat now and again. I don't know whether it helps, but I think he looks up to me and feels I ought to know a bit more about things, being that bit older and working in the bank back in Beccles. But I don't, and most of the time I don't say anything. I just listen. He seems to go off feeling a bit better. Dearest Mother. Mother must be worried sick. Aunt Maud coming to stay for a while will be a bit of a comfort, but I don't know how she's going to be able to cope. I'm glad I asked Jo down the road to look after the dog. She certainly wouldn't have been able to manage him. And if anything were to happen to me, she never got over Father's death from the last war. I was 12, just been the 2 of us ever since. No brothers or sisters. We've never been apart until these last few months. But she wouldn't want me to do anything else. She will worry so, though.
God almighty, look at me feet. Bleeding red raw.
The words some of the men use. Clearly not being brought up in a proper God-fearing home. I suppose they picked it up from those picture houses they go to. That's not for me. I've managed to keep hold of my Bible in my jacket pocket. It's looking a bit battered and worse for wear now, but still, it does give me some comfort. But even I struggle with it sometimes. How can we be here amidst all this suffering? What purpose does it serve? Best not to dwell on it, I think.
Here, did you see that girl in the last village? Right little mademoiselle, I reckon.
I try to take no notice. Some of the others try to find it funny, but their hearts aren't in it. I try to engage with the boys, but I don't feel comfortable. Some are all right, but there are some pretty rough ones, and I keep out of their way mostly. Dearest Mother, I'm really well and keeping out of trouble. We haven't seen much action. Life is very cheery here and really quite cosy. And the men in my platoon are all jolly good sorts. Well, what else can I tell her?
I love those dear hearts and gentle people.
Come in, ladies. We need to get the handover done swiftly. We have a busy day. Auxiliaries May and Fogarty, you will begin the bedpan and commode run, followed by breakfasts. Staff and Parsons will administer medicines before the patients go to breakfast. Porters Jackson and Stopes, position yourselves on the first floor for lifting and bed baths. Nurses Watson and Fife, stay behind for patient updates. Ladies, I shall let the night team hand over. Please take a seat.
Mr. Jones has infected bed sores which need bathing with saline and left to air dry every 4 hours. The doctor recommends turning on the hour every 2 hours and has prescribed aspirin to bring down the fever. Nurse Doreen Norton's treatment is to be used on all patients from today. I have the statement of requirements here for you, matron.
Thank you, staff. You may proceed.
Mr. Barnett in room 12 is being moved to the infirmary this afternoon. His packing has been completed last night and the notes for transfer are in the file on his cabinet. A nurse will accompany him in the ambulance. Other than another episode with the Colonel which kept us occupied until 4 this morning, I believe all the other patients are to continue in their recommended treatments and their night times were uneventful.
Would you like to elaborate, Auxiliary Bond?
Yes, matron. Last night, Porter Smith dropped a stack of bedpans. Well, accidentally, of course. It seemed to spark off one of the Colonel's episodes. He threw himself to the carpet as the clatter of the pans hit the sluice floor. He dragged himself on his elbows in some sort of crawl. It was very upsetting. The Colonel thrashed about when we tried, Porter Smith and I, to get him back to his room. It took ages to calm him. He was shouting and he disturbed the rooms on both sides of the corridor.
No need for emotional outbursts. This is not St. Andrews, the Norfolk Asylum. It is a British Legion care home for veterans. Here we are dignified. Have a modicum of restraint, if you please.
Sorry, matron.
The Colonel may be relatively young, but nonetheless he is battle-fatigued and needs both support and care. Mr. Smith, if you could continue, please.
The gentleman was shouting and shaking. He kept saying, they found the drums, they still might find the letters, over and over. He was perspiring, and his face was wet with tears. The doctor were here with staff about the bed sores, so I called on her, and Doc sedated him. But he ain't mad, matron. I know about the drums. They were found in France and returned to the Suffolk Regiment at the garrison at Bury St Edmunds.
We have quite enough work to do here without delving willy-nilly into theories, Mr. Smith. Ugh.
Matron, I could just sit with him after my shift. I might be able to help, find out why he's so troubled. Please, with your permission.
Very well, but in your own time. Hopton, close the handover, please.
I will be quick. I have children waiting. Now then, Mr. Granger, room 4, after I settled him down, he went walkabout and took all the teeth from all the rooms. He presented me with a mug of clean teeth. I was back and forth, weaving like a cart horse I was, trying to get them tried on. I've matched some with the right gums, but we still have 1 pair and 2 top sets to be found homes for. I left them in the sluice.
What a shambles! Dropped bedpans, patients crawling around corridors at the crack of dawn, and teeth! Dismissed, all of you.
Are you all right, sir? I come to keep you company. Sorry for all the noise last night. I dropped a load of bedpans.
It was shells. I can hear it. Take cover.
Settle down, sir. It's all right. Shh. Now then, you said yesterday you were in France. You were going to tell me some more, remember?
Yes. Yes. I remember. I was loading the truck for battalion headquarters as usual. I remember loading the bag with the letters on it. It was the first time I'd been given the letters. I felt so proud as I knew how much the letters meant to the lads. I remember Ken Barber chasing after me.
Hey, hold up, Posty. Could you put this one in the bag as well?
Oh, I don't know about that, Ken. Is it to your sweetheart?
Oh, I wish. No, it's to me dad, telling him everything it's okay when I know he knows it's not. It'll be stamped by the censor, no doubt. Captain Halliday, probably.
Put it in the bag, Ken. I'm just setting off for Boulogne. It should make the morning boat. I then set off on the Boulogne road. There was lots of traffic and a lot of mud. There were streams of vehicles coming in the other direction as well, and soldiers on foot. I had never seen it so bad. But orders is orders, and I battled on. The traffic just stopped. Shells started coming over, so I left the truck and sheltered in the trees. I remember a French girl sheltering with me, and a passing captain giving me orders. Don't worry, darling. You can always cuddle up to me.
You Tommies are all the same. I do speak English. I think you need to go the other way. Nothing but Germans ahead.
It will be fine, I'm sure. Where are you going?
Back to my village, off this road. Good luck.
I suppose a good night kiss is out of the question?
You there, Private. Identify yourself. What are your orders?
Italian truck driver to Boulogne, sir. Deliver the letters to mailboat and pick up supplies.
Disable your truck and leave it there. Nothing is moving on this road and the Jerrys are getting close.
I've got the letters on board, sir. I can't do that.
That's an order, soldier. Leave them. Everyone is ordered to make their own way to Dunkirk. Your truck is going nowhere.
A large shell exploded nearby. The French girl disappeared into the trees. The truck was damaged, but I took the starter motor leads off and joined the line of men in the opposite direction. Someone said Dunkirk was 20 miles away. I had to leave the letters. I would come back and get them when this show was over. I never did get back. The noise was overwhelming. Soldiers everywhere. It was just like those bangs last night. Take cover! Watch yourself!
You settle down now, sir. We'll talk again tonight. I love listening to your stories.
Please, you must get the letters.
Don't worry, sir. Rest now. I'll see you soon.
Hello? Halsey House Gardener here. How can I help you?
Good morning. My name is Monica Boozy, calling from BBC Suffolk Radio. I would like to conduct, with your permission, an interview with you regarding some World War II letters that have come to light. We have it on good authority that it's soon to be your birthday, and we would simply love to coincide with that, if that is at all possible.
Well, I am flabbergasted. Letters, you say? Really?
Yes, sir. I cannot go into detail over the phone, but if you're interested, we can send a car for you tomorrow at 10 a.m.
Certainly. Interested I most certainly am. I will see you then.
Splendid, Colonel. We'll see you then.
Come on, Betty. Get in, girl. I can't do it without you by my side.
Oh, Jack, I will be proud to come, but I'm not speaking. I'm just there for moral support.
And now, on BBC Radio Suffolk, an interview by Monica Boozy.
Good morning, listeners. Today we have the pleasure of sharing some wonderful news with a very special someone who for 30 years has been affectionately known as the Colonel, Mr. Jack Hubbard.
Oh my goodness, what an honour. And on my 50th birthday too.
With the collaboration of your close friend Mark Smith and your good wife, we have been able to trace back to the last orders given to you before the retreat to Dunkirk in 1940, where you were chosen to do the last supply run for the Suffolk Regiment, and that included delivering the mail from the men to battalion headquarters. For some, it turns out, it would be the last letter to their families back in England. Is that correct?
Yes, it is correct. But I didn't get them there. I had to leave them.
Take your time. We realise that. So what happened, in your own words?
Well, firstly, I was only chosen, said the lads, because I spoke with a plum in my mouth. I wasn't a colonel. Oh, no. That was a name I was given after the war, when I had battle fatigue and could not remember my name. I was a bit of a mess for a while. Anyway, as you say, I collected the mail, took the truck and went on my way, but was given fresh orders to disable my vehicle and leave everything. So the letters did not get through and were never found. Even after the war, it played on my mind. Those families, mothers, fathers, wives and girlfriends who never got them letters. Played on me for years, that did.
Brace yourself, Jack. Or can I call you Colonel?
Yes, Colonel is fine. Most people call me that, except the wife.
Well, it turns out, after you disabled the truck, a German officer found the letters and eventually took them back home. He put them in his loft. Nobody knows why he did that or why he left them for so long, just that he did. One day in 1968, he arrived at Bonn British Embassy and handed the letters over. He apparently said he wanted them to get to the people they were meant for and left them there. 50 letters were handed over.
That is extraordinary. I can't believe it.
Unfortunately, 41 letters were returned unopened. Those letters are to be held in the Bury St Edmunds Record Office. But we heard about your involvement and were told it would bring you great relief to know what has happened to the letters.
Oh, I'm choked. I don't know. There are no words. Oh, this is the best birthday I could have.
Thank you. That was the Colonel Jack Hubbard talking to Monica Boozy for BBC Radio Suffolk.
Well, love, after all that excitement, our Stan is coming home to celebrate with his old dad for a birthday lunch. And Mark Porter Smith is taking you for a pint before dinner. How's that for a birthday?
The best one yet, Betty. The best one yet.